How's it going, everybody? Ed Ricker here, and I've got a new product from Caddx FPV. A couple months ago, we had a new firmware update for the DJI FPV system, and in the update notes, it mentioned support for the new Caddx Nebula camera. And I was really interested in what that exactly was. So I reached out to Caddx. They sent me the Caddx Nebula Nano along with the Caddx Vista, which is a pairing that you can buy it with, or you can buy the Caddx Nebula Nano alone. I reviewed the Caddx Vista a couple months ago with the Beta 95X by Beta FPV. Pretty cool system, lacks a micro SD card slot, but otherwise acts pretty much like a DJI Air unit. It's just a smaller form factor, it's lighter, so it's easier to put into smaller quads like the Beta 95X. But with the Caddx Nebula Nano, it becomes an even smaller form factor. This is 4.5 grams for the camera as opposed to 8.2 for the DJI camera that comes with the normal Caddx Vista or the Air unit. By the way, please excuse my cut up fingers. I lost a fight with my X-Acto knife over the weekend. Whoops. Now you can buy the Caddx Nebula Nano by itself for about $37 US, but it becomes $45 US if you include the either 8 centimeter or 12 centimeter coaxial cable that it comes with that would connect to the Vista or the Air unit. So yes, this camera, the Nebula Nano, can work with both the DJI Air unit or the Vista. However, the selling point for this, I think, is the fact that it's small, so it makes sense to use it with the Vista, and that's why they do a pairing with it for $125 US. Now this is a nano-sized camera, so they give you a micro-size adapter right here, which is going to fit perfectly, at least I hope, into the canopy of the Beta FPV Beta 95X right here. You also get the antenna here. Of course, Vista only uses one antenna as opposed to two on the Air unit. You also have a little antenna holder bracket and your wiring. I may take out the wiring from the harness because wiring it up here, there's no way to actually use the harness on my Beta 95X. When I used the original DJI FPV camera with the Caddx Vista on the Beta 95X earlier this year, it didn't really fit that great. I couldn't get the exact tilt that I was looking for. Also, it wasn't screwing into the right part of the canopy of the Beta 95X. So I'm hoping that this new Nebula Nano is going to fit a little bit better and give me the up tilt that I'm looking for. Another thing I like about the new Caddx Nebula and the Caddx Vista, this also happens I think with just the normal Vistas that ship, is the insulated cable here. Again, you can do the 8 centimeter or 12 centimeter. This is 12. When my Caddx Vista shipped last time, this is the original one, this is the 8 centimeter, I'm pretty sure, length of cable, and you can see that it was not insulated. So much better to have an insulated cable in my opinion. You can also see the size difference of the two cameras. Of course, DJI, the original FPV versions here that comes with the Air unit or the regular Caddx Vista, and then the Nano right here. So that's the main visual difference between the two. However, the Nano camera cannot do either 4:3 aspect ratio when you're flying or low latency mode in your system preferences. It can only do high quality mode with 16:9 aspect ratio. Now, that might be a deal breaker for some people. I mean, the lack of micro SD card with the Vista was already a deal breaker for some people, but now we can only do 16:9 with high quality. One thing that means is that you're going to have a higher quality DVR. High quality mode means high quality DVR, as well as 16:9, which means you're not going to have to stretch it or crop off the top and the bottom to make 16:9 on the computer. But that also means you can't fly 4:3, which is my preference, and I usually prefer low latency mode because I'm usually not recording DVR on my 5-inch or 4-inch quads. Instead, I'm using some sort of second HD camera that I add to it. Well, since we're trying to keep things light, keep things small, then I guess this makes some amount of sense. High quality video for your DVR. But if you didn't intend to record your flight, then it would have been nice to at least have low quality mode selectable in your preferences on your goggles. Now, the interesting thing about this is, see, I have a Caddx Vista here with the full-size DJI camera. I say full size, but it's the original size, what I mean to say. Then you have your Caddx Vista here. The Caddx Vistas are the same. The change in your preferences and your abilities occurs when you take this Nebula camera off this Vista and put it onto this one. The Caddx Vista recognizes what it can and can't do, so you've essentially turned this full capability Vista into a Nebula Vista just by putting this camera onto this Vista. That's why this video is not about the Vista so much. It's about the camera and what that camera means when you hook it up to your Air unit or your Vista. So the difference here would ultimately then be image quality. Does the Caddx Nebula Nano hold up against the DJI FPV camera? And here we go. We have the Caddx Nebula Nano with the micro adapter in the Beta 95X canopy. Let's go fly. I'm here with my friend Michael Scott Rue on YouTube. How's it going?
What's going on, guys?
And he's going to help me fly the Beta 95X with the Nebula Nano by Caddx because, like I said earlier in the video, I got a boo-boo. Do your worst, Scott. Don't destroy it.
I'm not going to explode, hopefully.
But do your worst. Now, I was able to kind of cruise around on my own a little bit, but Scott's going to be the one that can actually put the 95X through its paces. I noticed a little bit of oscillation in the camera, but we'll see what happens when Scott gets on the radio. Do you see a little oscillation going on?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Now, I don't think that's the Nebula. It could be because this thing was crashed recently and I only now just got it back running. Maybe I'll try some different props and stuff, but right now, what do you think about the color?
It's not bad, it's just different. Like the DJI normal HD camera is very natural.
It'd be interesting to try a regular DJI camera here and just do like partial pack and just kind of compare.
Yep.
It's just the bright spots are really bright and we're losing detail. Like the grass kind of turns into
we tested the bumper effect.
The grass kind of just turns into like this yellow mush. We lose a lot of detail there. Yeah, I don't even know what I don't even know what camera tilt you prefer.
I run about 20, 25, give or take. Like, I always was able to fly your quads, and it wasn't until I started flying like 650 rates that I always thought your rates were slow. And then when I slowed my rates down catastrophically, yours are just way different. So like that.
Whoa, there we go. Hey, at least you got it.
That felt so. I was like, yep, we're gonna do a Rubik's Cube. No, I'm not.
Now here's another thing. This is high quality mode. So do you notice latency?
You know, honestly, I haven't really noticed anything too crazy.
And your 16:9, that hasn't messed with you?
No. It's filling up the whole screen because the native panel in the goggles is 16:9.
Is this the first time you've flown 16:9?
Other than like when I started flying with Dominator V3s when I first did
but
FPV,
DJI.
I don't think I've ever done 16:9 with DJI.
Yeah, I don't think I really have either. Maybe once or twice just for testing, but never to any degree where I was practicing or, you know, doing a whole session with 16:9.
I would be curious to know what I'm losing on the vertical.
Right.
Like, what am I giving up? I'd say with a quad, typically, the reason we prefer 4.3 is we do a lot of pitch axis stuff. So like, when I want to fly fast and look down, that helps. Because I know Shelby, talking with him with wings, he actually prefers 16:9 because he uses more of the wider field of view. But I think what people don't realize is that with 4.3, you're not really losing anything in the width. It's just a taller display. All right, now
feel free to do a little more if you need to.
Well, I'm trying to feel her out.
Right.
Because now that I've got rates closer to what I'm used to flying, I feel a little bit more confident.
And if you feel like you need a different camera tilt, you can bring it back.
Camera tilt's not too bad. Timing's a little off, but I mean, you got a different frame, different power levels. Plus, this is a good way to check latency too.
Right. So Scott's pushing the latency here. He's got the high quality mode, but he's starting to really break out the tricks, linking them together. Scott's always been great at trick multipliers.
Oh, explosions.
He's always been great at trick multipliers, and so like his different, I'm not even sure what you call everything that he does. Pretty simple. I mean, aside from, I guess, a little bit maybe lack of dynamic range or where it's favoring to be a little bit brighter on certain situations, but you said the high quality mode with the latency didn't make too much of a difference.
I didn't feel a huge difference. And what did you say, 50 milliseconds?
I don't know, it says on the bottom right when you were flying, I'm not really sure.
I didn't even look at it.
And then the 16:9, he said, wasn't really making too big of a deal either, so.
It says 34 milliseconds right now sitting on the ground, not armed, 31, so it's variable, obviously.
All right, so now we're using Scott's quad, and he's got the DJI Air unit with the regular DJI camera, and we're using high quality mode, 16:9. So this is the same camera setting that the Nebula Nano's using, and now we're kind of able to do a comparison contrast between camera qualities of the two cameras, and we can already see there's a ton more dynamic range on the DJI camera versus the Nebula. But we're in high quality mode, and I'm wondering, do you notice any latency?
Let me see if I can do a Rubik's Cube or something with
A
it.
Rubik's Cube with that. Woo! He's flying a Cinewoop, people.
It feels surprisingly okay.
Okay, so there's not a whole lot of perceptible difference in milliseconds here. And then 60x9 means we are chopping off a little off the top and the bottom, but still he's getting around.
Back here, like I can see, like you were saying, dynamic range. Everything looks better.
Normally we fly low quality and we fly 4x3. So back there I was expecting to see a lot more focus mode because we are autofocus mode, but with high quality mode we have less focus mode happening. So it's a much better image, much more enjoyable for the spectator too, although right there I did get some breakup.
After flying the standard DJI camera, I don't feel the image quality in the Nebula is on par with what the normal DJI camera is. The Nebula, in my opinion, I don't think you're going to be flying this camera for recording to post. I think you're going to fly this camera because you want to fly a digital system, but you're trying to be as light as possible. After flying that, putting default rates, and I'm used to flying, trying Rubik's Cubes and stuff, I didn't feel like the camera system held me back.
That image quality, even though it's high quality mode, which means maybe we get a little less focus mode or something like that, it's still not as great of a dynamic range that we're looking for and that type of thing. But I also wish, well, I'm not sure where that oscillation is coming from, if it's coming from the camera or from the Beta 95X. Now, I just repaired the Beta 95X. It had just required some major surgery to get back up in the sky. That could be the body of the frame of the Beta 95X or the props or the motors, not sure. I can't blame that on the Nebula. So check out Scott's channel. I'll link in the video description, also right here underneath the video. He's doing a lot of FPV edits recently on his channel. He's putting out a lot of good content. He's the trick link master. He's putting together these tricks that are pretty mind-blowing. So anyway, check his channel out. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thanks to Caddx for sending me the Nebula Nano to test out. Until next time, happy flying.
Later, guys.